Okay, so officially welcome to you guys to our workshop today, which I called Inner Healing Accelerator. And I am absolutely 100% excited to come live with you today and have this conversation, which I believe is really important because already years ago, we entered in that phase of awakening for humanity. And I know that a lot of people, and I will make that guess that you are those people, that a lot of people entered the phase when they started doing their inner work. And they started looking into what kind of patterns they have been living through in their life and healing the wounds that they might become aware of, or healing something that is still unconscious, but anyway working on one or like in different angles on themselves, right? So if you are here today, I am assuming that you are that person, because today's workshop is not about teaching you how to heal. It's about sharing with you my insights on how to heal better and faster, which means you need to be already on the path of healing, right? You need to have already some tools, some method that you like, that allow you already now to approach your healing journey in a better way, with everything that I'm going to share with you today. Because if you're just starting on the journey, you will, of course, there are so many things that you can learn, but it might not necessarily, it will still be useful to you, that workshop, because if we know from the get-go the better way, like the best way to do things, or more optimal way, let's call it like this, more optimal way of doing things, your journey can unfold completely differently. And I can tell you that this workshop was basically, it was inspired by the last 2 months that I spent, January and February, in very intense healing. Because my healing journey started a long time ago, and it has been accelerating in the recent years because I have learned so much. I am a healer myself. I guide other people through healing. And of course, I learn a lot through other people as well. Like every time I work with a client, I learn something new. And it's like, for now, it's still the case. I'm still learning with my clients. You would think that after so many years of working with people, it wouldn't be happening anymore, but no, it's a never ending journey of learning, which I totally, absolutely love. And I'm excited about that all the time. So, but there were some key elements, of course, that I have already absorbed from working on myself and on others that helped me truly accelerate my journey in the recent years. And not in the sense that I'm healing more and more things, but in the sense that more and more actually positive changes happen in my life while I keep doing my inner work. And let me tell you that before, it's actually funny in a sense, because when I just started, I almost did nothing on myself, almost no work. Of course, that was also wounded response because I wasn't my main priority. And I was so focused on other people that I wasn't actually even doing any inner work on myself, but I was always making mental notes of something that would resonate with me every time I would work with the person. And afterwards, when I became, of course, aware that I'm ignoring my own inner world, I'm ignoring what's happening within me, and that holds me back a lot. Like I started in healing very intensely, and I spent, I don't know, 3 years, I would say, doing a lot of inner work, meaning I was just joining different classes and learning different things and diving within myself. Obviously, awakening to being a starseed gave another depth to that, a completely different set of tools and everything. But it has been going really intensely for a while. And then it calmed down for, I would say, like a year or so. Of course, there are things that sometimes come to the surface and I will deal with them, but it wasn't like one after another, like I had at some point in my life. So, but now, these last 2 months, what was happening, I think that one of my theories is about healing is that there are certain things, obviously, that we have experienced somewhere back in time that we're not necessarily ready to heal from the get-go. Like some sort of maturity is required in order to address those wounds within ourselves. And for me, these wounds were my mother and father wounds, because I started feeling a really strong pull towards looking into these specific issues. And don't get me wrong, of course, some of the things that I have been healing, of course, they came from my relationships with my parents. Some of them didn't. They were rooted in something else, and some of them came from other lives, which is, which is a part of our journey because we are multidimensional beings. But this year, I really felt the strong pull to sit down and like literally look at it in its entirety. What did my relationship with my mother look like, and how did it contribute to my journey? And then the same with my father. And from these two, I finished my mother wound healing in January, and my father wound is almost done. Like, I've looked into a lot of different facets there, but the inspiration came somewhere when was it? March, I'd say, to create that training for you guys, because I was reminded of some things about my own journey. I was congratulated in a sense about by my higher self for certain things that I have learned and mastered at the same time, and I didn't ignore them. And that's what I want to share in today's workshop. Okay, so, and I will start with the question first to ask you, where do you find yourself currently in your life on your healing journey? Like, when did you start it consciously? Not like, doing whatever, but like really consciously you decided, okay, I'm aware that there are certain things I'm experiencing in my life which are results of some wounds that I'm carrying within myself. So how long did it, when did it start for you in terms of time? If you can pinpoint it, at least roughly, you don't need to know precisely till the day when it all began for you, but like more or less. Is it years? Is it months? What is it for you? And just let me know. And we have someone who just joined. If you could let me know your name, it would be nice, so that I can welcome you into our group, because I don't know, it shows like iPhone. So I don't know who that is. So Liman said more than 5 years, and the last 2 years are intense. Okay, so you're in an intense phase, which is good, which means it will be going slowly towards, like the other phase, like I described on my own journey, like when it's first intense, and then it starts slowly kind of going down, because you have done a lot of work already and you have progressed. I mean, hopefully. So what about the rest? Where are you finding yourself right now on your healing journey? How long has it been for you? And by the way, it's so nice to see some familiar faces here. Some who hasn't been with me for a really long time. But I know you know who you are. But it's always such a nice thing to, rekindle the flame and reconnect, and I love it. So, okay, guys, I don't know if you're typing or if it takes a little bit of time, so I will continue, but I will read your comments. So, okay, Mariana, your comment finally dropped. I don't know if there's a delay or whatever. So Mariana said 13, 14 years in total, in about 1 year and a half, a little bit more intense, with more awareness. Okay, so it's quite a journey, right? It's been a really long time for you. And you are actually you watched my workshop last year, right? About the truth about healing. You were there, right? Okay, just to refresh my memory. Okay, so I will continue, but once the comments drop, I will read. So what I wanted to say is that the longer our journey is, of course, the logical, how to say, the logical advancement of our journey would be that, just let me let the person in. The logical advancement of our journey would be that the longer it is, the more we feel like amazing, right, in our life and with everything. But for a lot of people, it doesn't happen that way. And there are very specific reasons for that. And I personally believe that there's nothing more frustrating in this freaking world than doing all the inner work, being truly committed to it, at least what you will think to yourself and say to yourself, and then see no results, or see temporary improvement and then fall backwards, and like to take 2 steps forward and then 3 steps backwards, right? There is nothing more frustrating than that. And believe me, I have been there. At the very beginning, when I wasn't doing any work for myself, and just making those mental notes for myself, it was still quite healing, because I believe that when we are working with other people as healers, we're still healing ourselves, but not in a very conscious way. So for me, it was like this, like there would be a temporary boost, but then falling back. And even then I began doing a lot of work, this intense period that I told you, there were like this periods like this when I would feel like something is finally like there is like a light at the end of the tunnel, and I would feel some positive shifts, and then like boom, something happens like it and sets me back. And I for years I wasn't really aware why it is happening that way. Okay, so now I do know. After years of all of that, I do know, and that's what I want to share with you. So there are different things that I want to talk about today. I wrote some of them in the description, maybe all of them already in the description of the workshop, but I'll tell you what I'm going to talk about today. First of all, there's one crucial thing that you need to know about yourself that I'm going to tell you. The second is that why sometimes when we work with a healer or whoever you hire, sometimes we don't experience the transformation that we're expecting or we think is going to happen at the end. The three main reasons why people don't heal. I will talk about, let me see what I wrote next. Yes, I'll talk about what actually healing looks like once you are healed. And one important step at the very, very end that you should not miss to actually finalize your healing, because that is literally the key that can put you back, like remove all your progress and put you backwards. Okay, so this is what I want to talk to you about. And of course, as I also wrote and in the description, I will have two offers for you that I'm going to share at the very, very end. And if you would like to listen to them, feel free to stay till the very, very end. But there's no obligation, obviously. If you feel like you've got everything that you needed for yourself, feel free to hop off. Okay, so that's the plan for today, and I will see what else needs to come through while we're talking about the things that we've planned, because sometimes, depending on you guys, on the energy of the group, some other things come through, especially if you have questions. And I will leave some time for questions as well, if there's something that you would like to know. Yes, and we will talk about, well, that crucial step that I told you. It's actually the integration. And if you would like, I can tell you what it looks like for you, if you are willing to share where exactly you feel stuck, like that things are not necessarily changing for you, okay? But we will come to that just a little bit later. Okay, so let's dive into everything that I wanted to tell you. So the very first thing that I wanted to tell you, and this is like, this is obvious for me right now, but it wasn't several years ago, is that one key thing that every single one of you possesses, and there is no exception, no matter who you are, is that you are a healer, for at least for yourself. We might not necessarily all be healers for other people. We're not meant to be doing that work with others, but when it comes to ourselves, we are all healers. We all have that natural built-in ability to heal ourselves from within. The problem is, for example, when I started my journey, I was rejecting that truth about myself, that I'm a healer, and healer for others and for myself as well, because I've been living with a lot of pains in my body for a really long time. And of course, when I learned that for the first time, this idea was presented to me by my higher self that you're a healer. And I was like, but that's total bullshit. Not only I am totally sick, but when my mom was sick, I wasn't able to save her. I wasn't able to do any difference in her life, even though, now looking back, it's not true at all as well. But back in time, that's what I was telling myself. So I was totally rejecting that truth about me. And I was kind of, setting myself apart and telling things like, yeah, maybe it's true for others, but it's not true for me. Where my higher self was kicking in and like, yeah, of course. Yeah, you are so special that you cannot heal yourself. That is total bullshit, right? So it starts with this first realization, with this first awareness that you need to accept as truth, that you are your most potent and powerful healer. You have that capacity within yourself. It kind of, you reactivate that capacity by simply believing that it's true, but of course you also need to help your body to begin healing itself, because and I'm explaining that in this different workshop that Mariana attended, how exactly you can do those kind of things, but I will touch on that today as well. But if you want to dive in much deeper, like this other workshop will be totally perfect because I'm teaching everything in there. But you are already your own healer, which means that when you accept it as truth, you right away take your power back. You kind of claim it and tell yourself that, okay, I can do this. I don't necessarily need someone else to tell me how to heal myself, because I know what my body needs. Okay, so, and which is why when we work with other people, healers, with whoever it is that you're working with, right? I mean, let's call them healers, just as a general name for that. If you come into that relationship without that awareness, you will come into it as a person who wants to be saved, as a person who entrusts another person to heal them, right? Because you do not believe that you are contributing to that process in any way whatsoever. But this is actually not true, as long as as long as you know that you are a healer, right? But if you come into that relationship thinking that I have absolutely zero power whatsoever to change what's going on inside me, and that person knows something I don't know, and they can heal me, you lose your power right away. And most of the times when you come into a relationship from that point of view, from this, it's not a victim position. In a sense, it is, like, because you believe that you don't have the power, so that makes you kind of take a victim position. But when you enter a relationship like this, most of the time, either you will get very small results or no results at all. And there is also a difference between how healers work. And I mean, of course, I don't know every single healer in the world, but I know that I have been in contact with some of them. They have different approaches. And let's say that there are people who work in a way like directly with you. They can work with your field, they can work with your body, they can tune in into you and do certain things directly with you. And there are others, like me, who do not do things directly to you. We are more like facilitators, like in your inner world, where we guide you to do certain things, but at the end of the day, you're doing those things. Because I can tell you what to do, but if you're not doing it, nothing is going to change, right? So, and the kind of the caveat when we work with the first type of healers is that if they are doing certain things to you, they are already taking power away from you, by telling you, I can do certain things to you because you can. They don't tell it directly. No, don't get me wrong. They don't have the intention to take your power away. They're not bad guys. No, but it's just to tell you that when you come into that relationships and they pull certain things out of you, in general, it's temporary. You will feel better in the moment, and maybe sometime afterwards you'll feel better. And then 1 month, 3 months later, something like that, you will revert back. And you will feel like, oh, okay, I need to come back to the person and do more because like I fell back, right? It's like, it's an equivalent of taking some sort of a pill that can make you high for a while and then you go down and it doesn't last, right? Because you came into that not thinking that you're contributing to that healing and you are deciding what's going to happen. And it's not that just that healer who is going to do something, but you are there consciously present and consciously co-creating that whole healing experience. And I remember I had one client who came to me, amazing woman with whom I loved working, but I mean, we had like a preliminary session together before we started doing anything more than that. And she told me, like, I've just worked with a healer not so long ago, and she was so amazing. She did so many things to me. She was really powerful. She healed me. I was like, interesting that you say that. It looks like as if you haven't done anything at all, with that woman. It's like as if you were just sitting there and telling her, do whatever you want with me, But I said, like, if you really feel that it made an impact, it means you still gave a permission to be healed, at least in that sense, and you co-created that healing to some degree, right? And she was like, now that you say that, I know that I went into that, like, not thinking that she's going to heal me, but like trusting that I am there and it's going to happen for me and she will help me, and that's the key. I told her right away, that's the key. That healer did not heal you. You healed yourself with her help. And that is a freaking key difference. Every time we approach our healing journey, it's a huge difference that will totally either will keep you coming back to the same person over and over with the same issues to have another boost, or going to someone once, healing, dealing with it, and be done, and just continue on your journey. So that's the very first thing that you need to keep in mind. You are a powerful healer. Even if you might not have an ability to heal others, because that's not your path and that's not your purpose here, you have the ability to heal yourself. Always, always, always. So come into the position, into any kind of healing relationship that you will ever have in your life from that space, and you will see completely different results, much more powerful results. So that's number one that I wanted to discuss with you. There are more reasons than three, but I decided to share with you kind of three key elements, three key reasons why I have noticed people do not heal. And I mean, what I just said, that you're coming from the position of disempowerment, of course, it's one of them too, but there's more. there are bigger ones that influence a lot how it's going to go with you. And those three things are, first of all, your relationship with pain. Second of all, people pleasing, or well, people pleasing and basically not putting yourself first. And the third one is self-sabotage. And I will explain the three of them to you and why they actually get in the way. Okay, so the first one is the relationship you have with your pain. And that's something that I had to learn the hard way with myself, because there was a time in my life when my mom just died, and there were other things were happening. Like I was not divorced yet, but like in the process, and there were other changes in my life, like in terms of health and everything, and it was snowballing at some point, and it was a lot. I felt crushed by whatever I was experiencing in my life. So I did what is very natural to us to do, to our, especially our nervous system. When something becomes too much and overwhelming, we shut down. So I shut down my ability to feel. I didn't want to feel the pain at all. And I lived happily ever after. No, I didn't. Actually, what happened is that, yes, I went numb for a while, until my boyfriend at some point made me aware of that. Because I was functioning, I could do my daily things and everything, but everything felt like, I don't know, like paper thin, like didn't have any flavor, like, I don't know, weird. And I was quite emotionless in every possible way. And then one day my boyfriend told me, do you still love me? And I was totally shocked by that statement. I was like, what is this question? Where is it coming from? And he's like, well, because I don't feel anything coming from you. You're as cold as ice, and you never kiss me anymore. Like, you don't come and do like these little cute things that you usually do. And I mean, you just completely changed. I was shocked because I had no idea I did that. It was so unconscious because it was just too much, that pain, that I didn't want to feel. I just shut it down. I was like, okay, let's function like this. So I had to put it back on. And for that, of course, for that period of time that I was shut down, I wasn't healing myself at all. I wasn't doing anything because it was impossible. Because one of the things that you need to know, how does your relationship to pain influences everything, is that you cannot heal anything within yourself that you're not willing to feel. Which means that whatever wound you have incurred at some point in your life, it was painful, right? And if it didn't get stuck in you, it wouldn't it wouldn't be bothering you right now, but it did get stuck, right? It's that pain that sits somewhere inside you, and it is numbed down. It is buried so deep that it's not hurting actively anymore. But every time something happens that reminds you of that wound, like that something touches it, right? It's like a thorn that you know it's sitting there, and like the moment you touch it with something, it freaking hurts, right? So, but if you, every time that you touch that wound, that thorn, and there is pain, you take a painkiller right away to not feel it, right? You will never pull it out. So in order to heal anything that you are experiencing in your life, it is crucial to allow yourself to feel. So if you are absolutely terrified of the pain and you will take any possible measures to not feel the pain, healing will never be possible. And that's something I've been shown time and time again with myself and with other people as well. So, which is also why now it's part of the kind of preliminary steps before healing that I do with people. I just see whether they're willing to feel it, And I've had also people with whom I had crazy intense sessions where they were in tears and I could feel the pain, like they were in physical pain even, because everything comes to the surface, but they were brave, like they were brave to feel it. And I could feel, and I was encouraging them to just say that, okay, it's the last time you're feeling that, like let yourself feel it to the full extent. And they were like, it was so intense, I cannot even describe to you guys. It was terrifying to me too at some point. But I was there to hold the space and like allow that to happen. But after that, like once that intensity was out of them, amazing healing happened. Amazing things afterwards started shifting for them. And they were just reporting it to me after, like after we have done the work together. And I also, of course, have clients who would, like, we are sitting and doing something and there's no emotion, there's nothing. That's my first clue, that they're not feeling it. They don't want to feel it. And nothing is really happening. They're saying certain things, but they're not felt through. And if you don't feel it through, transformation doesn't happen. Like this magic cannot happen. Okay, so that's number one. So your relationship with pain is crucial, which means you need, if you're really, really serious about healing to the point that your life starts changing and not like you're in this limbo, you need to check within yourself. Am I allowing myself to feel that pain of those wounds that I carry? Or am I kind of, still bearing it and trying to not really feel it and ignoring it? Like knowing that it's there, but not necessarily touching it is not the same as not knowing it's there and like digging into it, and telling yourself, okay, let's open that freaking blister or whatever it is and finally heal it, right? So it's like that. So you need to check within yourself. What exactly are you doing? Where are you in terms of dealing with your pain, right? And allow yourself to feel, if you feel it, like if you find that you are blocking the pain, the feeling of pain, like work with yourself to see, why am I doing that? Allow yourself to feel it fully to the full extent, knowing that it's only, it will be for the last time. When you're approaching a certain thing that you need to heal, it will be for the last time, because finally it will be healed forever and you will not feel it again. Okay, so that's number one, your relationship with pain. The second one, as I said, it's people pleasing. And what does it mean? Is that you're making everyone else in your life a priority, but not yourself. You cannot make a commitment to you. You're always running and putting out fires everywhere else, but not your own. It can be totally like, you can be totally ablaze within, but you are just ignoring that and going to save other people and going to, it's a pattern as well. It is a wounded pattern most of the time, of course, but it is still a choice that you can make. When you become aware that you're not making yourself a priority, then you're confronted to the choice that you can make, right? And that was my case when I finally realized that, yeah, I'm working with clients and I'm helping them improve. Back in time, I didn't call it healing because my work was focused more on a career, but looking back, obviously I was healing. We were working on healing, but at that time I was fully focused on them and never did anything on myself. And I wasn't aware. But when I became aware, I was confronted to that choice. Like, do I continue doing that? Or do I finally actually dedicate time to myself, knowing that when I do that, when I make that commitment to me, I can only become better. And if I am better and, more myself and more present here where I am, and I'm expanding, I can serve them much better. So it's all interconnected, of course. But at the same time, there has to be an element of selfishness there. Like, you need to realize that you're not just doing it for them, to be of better service to them, but it's actually understanding that when you begin this commitment to you, this love story with yourself, your life will begin changing. Until you make that commitment and you just do work like here and there, like there's no consistency when we're not committed. And consistency is usually key into whatever we're doing, right? So if there's no commitment and you will just do things here and there from time to time, yeah, of course, nothing can change, right? It's like doing abs once every 3 weeks and expecting that your six packs will appear. Not going to happen, right? Whatever you do. So it's the same, which is why the commitment to yourself is the second most important thing. And of course, the people pleaser is like the other side of it, right? We are pleasing others because we cannot commit to us, because we are so like telling ourselves that what I am and who I am and what I need doesn't freaking matter, because I don't matter, right? And that's another thing to address and tell yourself for once in your life, for the first time maybe in your life, but I do matter. And I want things in my life, and I want things to change, and I want my life to be beautiful, so that as a result, afterwards, I can live a good life, but also be of service to others in a much more expansive way, right? And if you are a healer, like if you have inside yourself this desire to serve others, that's a huge point. Not that you need to be fully healed to help everyone, everyone else, but you become better and better and better, because every time you heal something, you are more yourself. You shed any layer that is not you, that is the fakeness that you have acquired, that you put on like a mask to be liked by others, to be accepted by the world, to deal with the wounds that you have incurred. If you've been rejected, of course you will do everything for others to be accepted. Like if you're not loved by your parents, of course you will seek love from others by being nice with them and doing things for them. It's like, it's very natural, something that we do, right? But there must come a moment when you just decide, okay, I matter. Despite what happened before, despite what I've learned, I matter. And then you begin that journey, right? And you can make that commitment and make that statement even before you healed that thing that makes you believe that you don't matter, right? Because it's a choice. It's really a choice. Okay, so that's number 2. And finally, the third one, I told you it's self-sabotage. And self-sabotage means actually that if you are doing some work, but not seeing there is, or like, not that you're not, if you are doing the work, but like your heart not fully in it, in a sense, of course you will not get the results that you want. It's because inside you, there's a part of you that benefits from you not being healed. That just likes to be where you are in that misery for whatever reason, and the reason is always good. It's not something bad. It's like every part of you that exists within, even though it might have the shittiest behavior ever, and it might reveal itself in the most destructive way, it wants something good for you. It just doesn't know a better way of doing that, right? So self-sabotage begins in terms of healing when there's a part of you that just thinks that if you are unhealed and where you are right now, it satisfies something that it wants. Okay, so, and if you're not aware of that, if you're not looking into that for yourself, you will be slowed down in your process. You will not heal because this part will get in the way, depending on how big it is. And usually because it's subconscious, it's bigger than conscious most of the time. That's the rule of thumb that I have also discovered. If something unconscious is affecting you, it's usually bigger than the conscious thingy. Okay, so fighting it just with your consciousness will be hard. You can, of course you can. You can remind yourself every day, I want that, I want that, I want that, and you shut up. But do you want that fight every day? I personally don't. I prefer to deal with it, to look into that, and to see what's the big deal there. What do you want? So that I can show that part of me that, okay, you can get that in a much better way, the one that will actually serve me, and then we work together. So there is no war inside, there is no self-sabotage. Okay, so I see that Catalina messaged. I just read your comments. Hello, Maria. Hello, everyone, and happy to be here. Happy to have you. And good to see you from Yanis. Good to see you too. It's been a while, right, that we spoke together. And by the way, everyone who joined, because there are some people who joined us in between, you can still answer that initial question that I asked everyone in the group, where you are in your healing journey and when did it start for you? When did you consciously start it? Okay, because conscious is important, right? When we are doing something not in a very conscious way, it doesn't bring us much, right? So that's the question for you if you would like to let me know. So these are the 3 main reasons why we usually why people don't heal. That's what I identified. As I said, there is more than that, but they're smaller and they're not very, I would say, it's not like every person has them. But these 3, they're very common. Like a lot of my clients had it before we address them. And I see that, because I can always see how people respond to certain things. And it's easy for me to see in which pattern they are, whether it's self-sabotage or not valuing and not loving and not committing to themselves, or the very first one, the not wanting to feel the pain. It's like now I can see that so easily because I've had them myself. So these are the 3 reasons, okay, that I wanted to share with you. And you can already become aware for yourself, right, which one is playing out in your life. Because we always know, when we are honest with ourselves, we can always know what really resonated, right? So if you want to let me know in comments, you're free to let me know if there is one of these 3 reasons that are at play for you. So now we're going to move on to the next thing that I wanted to share with you when it comes to healing. I told you there's one crucial thingy that you can heal actually, and then if you don't do that final step, it will revert backwards, no matter what kind of progress you've made. And for that, I need to explain to you first and foremost, how do I personally see healing, how I started seeing healing after a while. And it's like this. So when we are wounded, whatever pattern we created for ourselves, it's like the only way your mind can deal with a certain situation. It's the only way your mind can see it, like the only option available for your mind. Like I said, for example, if you have been rejected in your childhood, you have experienced the wound of rejection, you will play out a pattern of constantly running after other people and pleasing them, right? So, and that is the only way how your mind sees how I can get what I want. And what the mind wants is to be loved, right? And to be accepted. When you begin healing that wound, what happens is that you begin opening other options for yourself. There might be one more, there might be more than one, right? So you open doors. While before healing, you only had one door through which you constantly walk through every freaking day, right? Once you begin healing, you open other doors. And they are open, but you are still on the other side of this door, meaning that it's a path that you never walked yet, right? So, and what most people do is that they open the doors and then they stand on this side and don't move any forward, right? And this is the crucial step, actually. And this step, I call it integration, physical integration in the physical. It's called like that. What does it mean? Is that for your mind to begin choosing a better way, you need to take that first step in a conscious way, meaning that you have to force yourself to take the option that is now at least available. Because before you didn't even see that. For you, it was even impossible to go somewhere else because there were no doors, just a wall. Right now there's a door. And you have that choice now. So for you, the integration needs to happen in a way that you finally take that step through that new door. And believe me, the very first time, every time we heal, the very first step towards that new direction will be hard. It is not going to happen automatically. You're not going to be just ushered to that new door like, yay, let's go and float in this new direction automatically. No. And that is the part of empowerment, actually. You know, that is the part where you are empowering yourself by making a choice. But not being like a victim of whatever again and like, I will just go with the flow and see where I go. Well, no, it's your life, right? You are deciding where you're going. And in that specific moment, you are deciding to take a new direction in your life, right? And without that integration step in the physical realm, like what does it mean in the physical? It means you are taking an actual action that is different from before, right? So if, for example, I will stick with the example of rejection because it's easy for me, but I will ask you then if you want me to kind of look into your current patterns, what you are trying to heal, what will integration look for you? We can do that, okay? So, but let's say your pattern was rejection, meaning like you had the wound of rejection, and so you were terrified that people will reject you, and to avoid that, you were constantly doing things for others. So let's say what was commonly happening with you is that you're at work and a colleague comes and tells you, you know what, I have a problem here. Can you help me? And you're swamped with your own stuff. You know, you have things to deal with, like until the end of the day for sure, 100%. But because you cannot say no to that person, because otherwise they will think that you are a jerk and they will eventually reject you. They will not like you anymore. You say yes. You go to that person and you solve their problem, and it takes you a while, maybe like an hour or so, which means it takes away from your time that you would need to solve your own issues at work. And you end up either doing overtime or being sloppy with your work, and it creates troubles, right? It creates stress, it creates some unnecessary tension that you didn't need and you didn't have to have. But because you couldn't do it otherwise, you couldn't say no to that person. And it doesn't matter which person it is. It's like it's the same rule for everyone. You would just be incapable of saying no to anyone. You do it, right? So the new option for you in this case, once you've healed that wound, the rejection wound, because once you've healed, you're not afraid of rejection anymore. Like you know that there are people who will always not like you, but there are others who will like you, and that's okay. Like that's life, right? And you don't need to strive to be like bend over backwards in front of everyone. So you have an option to say no, right? And you have to say no, despite the fact that it will feel very hard. It will not be impossible anymore. And that's the crucial difference, right? If before healing, it will literally be impossible. Like you will not squeeze it outside of yourself, no matter what you do. In the second case, once you have healed, you have done the inner work, right? But the outer is still to be done. Once the inner work was done, you can say no. It will be hard. It will not be. You will be scared, and you will feel like your entire being just shrinks into a little ball inside yourself. But it is not impossible anymore, right? And the moment you say no is the moment you walk through that door, and that's when the healing is finally finalized. And because of course, next time it will be easier, and next time it will be easier, and next time you can assess, can I actually say no or a yes? Or am I saying a no from a space of defensiveness, or I'm saying a no because I'm genuinely swamped? Or am I saying a yes because I genuinely want to help that person and not because I want them to like me? and not reject me in the future. So you will see how the dynamic plays out afterwards, because it's not about, like, once we are healed, right? It's not about always saying no to everyone in that particular case, with that particular wound. It's just about having the freedom to say yes or no, depending on how you feel, right? Because that's the what we acquire with healing is freedom and more options and choice, right? Not just like go like, like this horse to whom we put these blinders so that it doesn't see any other way, just this one, right? There you remove your blinders and you have other ways available, and you can do that. Okay, so that is the integration part. So now, if you want, guys, if someone is brave enough to share with me, what are they trying to heal right now? What are you trying to heal right now that you feel like it's not going any further and you're stuck? And I might share with you what integration might look for you. I mean, you might already know. It's not hard, actually. It's just doing the opposite, or like something different of what you used to do, right? And for you, it might be even more obvious than for me. But if it's not obvious and you would like me to kind of give you a little bit of clues or suggestions, feel free to share, and I will tell you if I know. I'm not going to invent something if I don't know. Okay, now just take a sip of water.
Can I share?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Well, for me, it's something connected to communication, saying no, putting boundaries. And these situations create for me inner anger. And I've also done recently a shamanism session with a friend. We switched and I delivered something for her and she did something for me. And I discovered it's connected with a certain past life where I don't want to, she saw for me that past life, and I recognize what she said because I know about some certain things about that past life. So it's true. And the person or the starseed that I was in that past life, well, she didn't really want to heal. And only part of it was healed through that session. That's what she told me. She saw and felt. And now I'm thinking, because part of me wants to do this fully, but I also understand that it can be a lot. I kind of felt a little bit of what that might be in that. And I'm wondering what to do about it, like how further to go, and because this is a repeating thing, and I am having certain situations in my present life that is bringing a lot of this anger forth, like since the past 3-4 months especially. And yeah, there are also a lot of things that came to me that are related to anger. Like I saw a forum on anger and there were various sessions on this, so it's clearly that things are coming to the surface. But yeah, and this has been also something that I've dealt with as a child. So when I was a child, I had a lot of situations in my family that were bringing me a lot of anger. So it's also it's all connected. Yeah.
Okay, so I will ask some questions first to understand if I understand correctly. That first of all, you are not kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, you are not. You sense that there's a lot of healing to be done, but you're not finalizing it. Like you're not going till the end. Correct? Like because it can be a lot.
Yeah, I worked on anger also last year, and I felt like I reached a new, better level, because I used to get much more inner anger or frustration on certain things, and giving my power away much more easily in these kind of situations that normally we should. It's important to be grounded, or I don't know, silly discussions or anyway. But I see that it's still coming up.
And how do you feel when the anger comes up?
Uh, yeah, actually, yeah, I have moments when I feel like I just want to get it all away, you know, like it's stuck on me, like it's something stuck on my body or me, or like I just want to get rid of it already, you know, like to not have this already.
Yeah, so there is a rejection, right? You're rejecting the anger.
Yes.
You're not allowing yourself to actually feel it.
Um,
Like you feel that it's wrong to do it, to be angry.
I feel like it's painful to be angry.
Okay, what doesn't matter.
It's probably some pain be also connected to that anger. Like I feel the pain, and then because I feel the pain, I get angry. But no matter what, I come back to this anger.
So usually, what I also discovered that anger is just the first level actually. When you start healing whatever, because when we feel that we have been wronged in any way whatsoever somewhere before, but we didn't deal with that before. Like when we start healing and recognizing what happened, actually anger is the very first reaction. But
Okay.
under the anger, because it's not the end, under the anger there is sorrow, there's sadness, and I
Mm.
feel like you are not wanting to go into that sadness. So you stop at the anger, and the moment you start feeling more pain and more sadness there, you just like bounce back to the anger itself. So which brings me more to, it's not like the issue of anger itself, it's more of the further pain that is behind the anger that you don't want to feel,
Mm.
because that's where the healing is. And that's why the anger doesn't go away, because you don't go further. You don't let yourself to just go into that.
Okay.
Maybe the anger will be even stronger at that level, like because whatever you are experiencing, whatever is below that, under that level, where that sorrow and sadness are, and where that pain are, there might be even more anger, right? But for now, because you're constantly telling yourself, yeah, I don't want to feel more pain than I have already felt, you bounce.
Yeah.
So you see, that brings me back. It's not the integration problem; it's the problem
Okay.
of the relationship with pain,
Yeah.
that you don't want to feel more. But that's where the freedom is. You have to, you have to let yourself know that I am strong to feel that pain. It's not going to kill
But
me.
how do we let ourselves feel it?
You just let it. Like you might go layer by layer. So like not like fully plunge into that, but see what's the next level. You felt your last pain, right? It didn't kill you. You felt it. It didn't kill you. You can tell yourself
Mm.
that it didn't kill me, so I can go further and do a bit
Yeah.
more, right? Knowing that at the end of it, whenever the end is freedom, is peace, is
Hmm.
what you're looking for, right? And but if you don't go there, you will constantly bounce back to anger, because anger is the first level.
Okay.
So for you, it's literally that, just allowing yourself to feel more pain for now. Be a masochist for a while. Knowing that that's the way through. You cannot avoid it, you can't go around it. It's just you have to go and feel it. And I know this, I know there have been a wound in my life that I couldn't even go there. I was not accepting to go there, and I tried to work it out with like hypnotherapists and some healers. And the moment I was like almost discovering, because I couldn't even remember what it was, but the moment I was like there close by, my mom was just like, nope, 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 I'm not going there, fuck off. And I would just block the sessions, like with people. I would just go, no, I'm not going any further, no, no. And it was for a while because I wasn't allowing myself to feel that pain. But when I decided, okay, I'm ready to go there, I don't know what it is. I have no freaking clue what it is, but I'm ready to freaking go and feel it, whatever it is, because I cannot be the prisoner of that pain anymore. And that's when I went and remembered the events, and it was bad. Not maybe as bad as I probably anticipated somewhere at some level, but it was bad. But it didn't kill me, because it's in the past. It's not something that you're experiencing now. It's something that you have experienced already. And despite the fact that it might feel that it will be exactly the same, like you will feel exactly the same way, you don't. And also, what's important, um, I think when we did the healing with you in a session, I think we did that there are certain aspects of those past events, that you don't need to experience like through your own eyes, through your own body, but rather be a watcher, an observer. I think we did that at some point there with you. I don't remember now, it's been a while.
We
But
did quantum healing.
yeah, when we did quantum healing, we observed certain things, when it was a bit too much for you to feel. I told you, like,
Yeah, I felt it a lot in the body then.
yeah, and I was telling you, like, take a position where you can not be in that body now, but like more looking over what's going on so that you can see what it is. Because our mind creates much more pain from imagining what we're going to experience
Mm-hmm.
rather than from experiencing. So you can allow it to watch, to see that, okay, that's not so bad. Yeah, I can go there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you jump in and actually feel it. So
Mm-hmm.
like a preliminary step for you, instead of just plunging back into the pain directly, you allow yourself to go and remember, but as a watcher, like a visitor of that life or whatever, that wouldn't happen. Like you said, it was from past life. So you would be there as a visitor
Mm-hmm.
rather than as an active player, And then you
Okay.
see where it gets you. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that. So you're the one who doesn't want to feel the pain.
No, I recognize it. I don't want to.
I know, but that's the thing. You see, that's what I told you. That will hold you back. Always, always. It's just like that. Okay, so I hope that gave you some insight.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Maria.
You're welcome. Okay, so anyone else would like to share and get some insights if you want? You can also comment. You don't need to go and talk live if you don't want. You can just drop a comment and then I will address it. If you are writing, guys, I will let you some time. And okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jacqueline. I'm sorry I'm a little late to the meeting. I was on the phone with a discussion. I'm here in Florida, and I'm working, and my son is home from school, so I'm like been listening, but I haven't really been, hearing everything that was going on completely. So just want to introduce myself.
Okay.
I'm not just
Nice.
sitting here.
Yes, you're a new face in my world, so nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. So, anyone else would like some more pinpointed guidance, or do we move on? Mariana, I see.
Yeah, well, you already know my situation, and I don't know, I guess I would need some insights. I know that probably my reason for not healing is self-sabotage. And lately, I told you last time in our driving seat session that I had the strong pain in my arm. Now it's a little bit better. But when things like this happen, when I start to do more inner work and I start to see the results and I start to take some physical actions, like starting to integrate that, then like something hits me.
Mm-hmm.
So after my surgery, I started to, I'm not recovered yet, but I started to feel better and better. And I started to, I don't know, to take showers by myself. I started to cook a little bit. So I was really happy that I'm getting better. And then this pain in my arm started. And this was so disappointing for me. And in these kind of moments, I really lose motivation.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really, I think, the worst, when you just feel like there's no point to do anything because it's never going to be better. So now I'm getting my motivation back. So for example, I was meditating this morning and I got some nice messages and I was doing some healing, but it took me some time, to get the motivation back. So you lose time and you're not going further, you're just going sinking more and more down. So I don't know if it is something more. I mean, it's self-sabotage, it's for sure, but probably it's I don't know, much deeper.
No, yeah, I see where it is. I mean, I suspect where it is. Because you just said my arm started hurting the moment I started doing things to myself and taking showers by myself and doing this and that for myself. And that's when the pain hit, which means, I mean, I know everyone else doesn't know, but for you, of course, the lesson that you needed to learn was loving yourself and like making yourself a priority rather than going and taking care of other people. So you were in the process of making yourself a priority when the new pain hit. And you are right, it is self-sabotage because there is still a part of you that doesn't believe that you deserve to take care of yourself. And that is what you need to look into. Why do you still believe, like, and it's a pretty big part because it keeps getting in your way. Why do you still believe that you do not deserve that? You shouldn't be the center of your own attention. Like other people deserve that more than you. That's what you need to look into. That's I hear it almost immediately from what you said.
Okay, great. Great. Okay.
Does it
I would like to add something.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So my healing journey has been a little bit like, well, like anybody else's, your own. It's personal. And I've been going through like in the last, I'd say 3 years, I had went through a multitude of different things. A little background is I came from a holistic wellness family. So I had kind of a leg up in this like journey, understanding a little bit more. But when 20 and I think it's 2022, I had a complete like I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I have 3 sons. One is in the Marines. I had younger, and he's actually in the Philippines right now. And I have a 17-year-old son who's in Pennsylvania and a 6-year-old that's with me. And I went through a rocky separation, and my whole life kind of crumbled. So I went through a very, very profound like ego death, and in combination with some other things I at the time couldn't really explain. Sorry, my phone is ringing out. I don't know if you guys can see me.
We do.
So in that process, there was a lot of really feeling very isolated. And I think at the time I didn't know what to do or who to turn to. And I had wished that there was some kind of resources I could have turned to, because having multiple sclerosis, talking to some of the people, to anybody about kind of the things I was experiencing myself was it would have opened the gates of thinking something was not okay with me mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you have MS, for anybody who doesn't know, it's a breakdown of the nervous system, and it starts in the brain and spinal cord. So I was very much in fear while I was going through these profound, spiritual transformations, and being forced to kind of isolate, which I don't know any other way that would be better to heal than by yourself sometimes, because the only person that is able to help is all reflective in my eyes. So you heal from the reflection of your own self, basically, and the world around you. So I took almost 2 years to really like try to hone in on some of these things that the other women are talking about, such as anger and things that I had really buried and totally put. I didn't even think I was angry. I didn't think I was an angry person at all. And when you go through layers of deep, you realize some things about yourself that you don't even know where to start, and I guess I'm just explaining why I'm here. Because I don't want everybody to be like, why is this girl, she's just randomly here? So I do a lot of crystal work. I do like kind of more taboo arts and along with just healing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been a process.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not something that we do once and forget, it's really a process.
And I get nervous talking to other people about it, because it's like, you feel kind of like an alien when, I don't know, I'm going to speak on behalf of myself, but I feel very strange talking to people that are very logic minded when it comes to healing and energy, because I see it this way. I'm not going to unsee it that way. And so then I kind of feel like people are just like, I think they're intrigued, but I can't say that it's like a very comfortable thing talking. So I thought, what's better than going to see, some people that are more in alignment with how I think.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, definitely. Believe me, whoever is here today, we are all believing in the energy healing and the
Oh,
power of our bodies, 100%.
That's so good. It's so good because I'm telling you, I don't know. It's just part of the process, but a lot of times I'll be talking to people, I'm still in that transition where, a lot of the people in my life, haven't like really, moved completely out of it, but they don't understand this at all. And I try to help by just staying quiet. Sometimes that is the power of it, is to lead by example.
We don't always need to talk, and say
Right. So,
nothing.
but I was curious what these conversations would be like to have with people that believe in what I do, what I do. I always feel like a kind of like a one of a kind. People are looking at me like, yeah, okay.
There are definitely others like you. We are there. We are here, sitting.
Oh, so good to meet everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here and sharing a little bit of your journey and where you are. So let's move on. I will just ask Mariana one last question. Did it feel true when I tell you that there's a part?
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, because if it wasn't true, you would not react. So now you know that
Yeah.
it's your work to be done.
Yeah, you always think that, okay, I'm done with it. But when you realize that you are not done with something, then it's like, oh, I have to dig more. I have to still work on it. But
That's okay. Sometimes, depending on the depth of your wound and how big it is and stuff, there are many layers that need to be peeled. And that's normal. It's just that. I mean, for me, that's why patience is so key in the whole process, and not to give up on yourself if you have been doing something and it wasn't working. Remembering what I told you today. I mean, I'm not done with everything yet. There is more that I want to tell you, but these key things, they do matter. And if we address them before we begin healing, healing becomes different. It becomes easy. At least for me, it has been like this for a while already, that I do come back to certain wounds over and over. Like my biggest one was around value, and I had to come back to that I don't know how many times. Seriously, I don't know how many times. And the last batch happened now with my father wound, and there was one layer with my mom, a bit smaller than with my dad, but with my dad it was a huge one that had to be peeled now. Finally, and I started doing that. Working on my self-worth years ago, and you probably saw me posting, I've healed today my relationship with my self-worth. Fuck no. It was just one more layer. I got better with it. Let's say if you were to look at the scale like from 0 to 100%, once I've peeled that layer, at the moment I felt like, yeah, it's 100%, but then I realized, well, maybe I was like around 70, and there is still 30% to go. It means that, the 30% is still something that can affect me, but it's not as strong as the 70 that's already healed, right? But there was still some work to do. And I was just not allowing those 30% to constantly fucking get in my way anymore. And I was consciously like stopping whatever when I was aware that, okay, that's the pattern of my lack of self-worth that gets in the way now. So I need to remind myself I am worthy, even though 1/3 of me still believes that I'm not, right? But there was still more work to do, and I didn't know what it was, and it's not about forcing either. I just know that it comes naturally. When the moment comes to peel another layer, it will just come. It will come naturally, and you will work through it, and then you will finally feel it. So it's always a journey, and that's a good reminder to keep in mind, that it's not going to happen at once. So the next thing that I wanted to tell you about, what does it look like when we actually heal finally? Because there is a misconception. Let's start with different thing. That how do we know that we are wounded? Usually, we know that because something in our life keeps repeating, and it's not a good thing. Something shitty keeps repeating. You're doing it over and over and over, right? So that's how you know that there is some wound within yourself that like it is inviting you to heal itself, because it's another opportunity, it's another reminder every time it happens. So, and there is a misconception that the moment you've healed, that thing will never happen to you again. And that is the misconception I had as well before. But I realized that it's not actually true. It will not happen. It's not that it will not happen again. It will first of all happen one more time, 100% sure, to help you integrate. That you can be sure 100%. You will be presented with the same thing again so that you do differently. And in the future, there will not be exactly the same situations again, but something quite similar, but again, just to see that you've grown, like, to kind of universe will send you exactly the same thing so that you deal with it effortlessly and easily so that you can actually witness your own growth. And it's not going to crush you like it used to crush you before, right? So that's number one. Healing, once we heal, it's not like our life become perfect. It's just, we still experience some shitty situations, but they're not going to crush us anymore, right? And we are dealing with them with much more like maturity and power, and from a space of like, I know what I'm doing now, rather than I'm a little victim and I have no control whatsoever in front of what's unfolding. But life continues, right? And I always say that there are certain things that will still happen. Like, this year for me, 2 shitty things happened not so long ago. First, my cat died, which for me meant a lot, and then my boyfriend almost choked in front of me, and I had to rush him to the emergency. And I seriously didn't know what was going on. And what I noticed after that is that these are new things. Like, it's not something, although with the cat it's a repetitive thing. That's true. The second time it happened that a cat died just before my birthday, and under very, very mysterious circumstances. So that is probably something that a lesson that I needed to learn, and I believe it was a lesson about letting go of control and thinking that we are controlling absolutely everything that we are experiencing. It's not true. We are co-creators with the universe, so there is the level of control that exists rather than, well, it's not control, it's more influence, but we are co-creators with the universe. So, which also means that before you came here, your soul agreed, I will learn certain lessons. How I'm going to learn them, it's not defined. Like, the situations, they're not going to be planned, but you just decide for yourself. You tick, basically, I want to learn this, I want to learn this, I want to learn this, right? So which means the universe will present to you those situations as you go. And if you've been healing from past wounds that you have incurred before, and then they were repeating in your life until a certain point, once you've healed, these situations, they will slow down, and again, as I said, will be presented to you one more time to integrate, and then maybe next time just so that you can pat yourself on the back that, okay, I'm done with that, right? But new situations will come. They will be challenging and they will be painful, but there will be a huge difference if you have healed, is that you will not incur new wounds. You will deal with them right away. You will find a solution. You will not get hurt. It will be painful, but the pain will not get stuck. It will pass through you, and you will come out of it just with lessons and more empowered, with more knowledge, with more wisdom, but no wounds. Okay, that is what healing looks like. Like, the biggest misconception I've had, and I spread it for a while, I guess, is that once you've healed, your life will become totally pinky rosy, amazing, and nothing bad will ever happen again. This is actually not true. I believe now, and I have been confirmed that in my own journey and with my clients, is that life, the beauty of life is that we get thrown curveballs from time to time, because if everything was perfect and peachy, you would get bored very fast. You would just feel, okay, what is this life? Nothing is happening, and it's like still smooth sailing all the time. So I believe that you will still be experiencing certain things, but again, you will deal with them in a completely different way, from a completely different space, and you will not crumble in front of any trouble like it happened to me now. With these two situations, I came out of them within, I would say, 2 weeks. I was on my feet, which before would take me, I don't know how long. I seriously don't know. It was really tough in the moment, and I got shocked, and I was, momentarily, I was in the space of, why is it happening again? The little unhealed me still was like, why is it happening again? And then the healed ones said because you know why, and stop. There is so much gold in it, and take the gold and move on, and that's what I did. So that's something that I wanted to share with you, because it's important to not have wrong expectations. If you're expecting one thing and then it's not happening, again, you might start telling yourself, what am I doing wrong? is there something that I could have done differently, and why is it happening, right? So now you know that's how what healing looks like. Your life will definitely take a better turn, you know, like it will not be a constant drama after drama after drama. It's not going to be like this anymore. Like the more you heal, the less drama will be there, right? But new things will still happen to challenge you. And for me, that's part of our journey here. Like that's what makes it worth being here. Okay, so that is one more thing that I wanted to mention to you. And finally, I wanted to share with you just like a summary, to summarize how, like the main points, how do you then accelerate your healing? How do you continue your journey that you already began for some of you years ago, and make sure that you're not stuck anymore, you're not going in the same loop, and you actually accelerate it so that changes really, really happen. So you start by number one, that you recognize that you have the power to heal, and you take it as truth, unquestionable, something that you don't need to verify, something that you don't need any proof for, okay? So you just take it as truth. And it doesn't mean that you never ask help from anyone else. You know, that's where I was caught up, that, well, if I'm so powerful, I shouldn't be asking help from anyone. Again, that's the wounded response, right? It doesn't mean that. It means that you can work with other people because we are all gifted in different ways and we can all complement each other, but you come into the relationship with another person from a position of power, that I am powerful as well. I just want some help. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so that's number one. The second one, obviously look into your relationship with pain and see whether you are avoiding it, and allow yourself to be more open to feeling more of it, knowing that you cannot heal it if you don't want to feel it, right? That's how it is. The third one is that you need to connect to your body more by committing to yourself, by allowing yourself to be your number one priority, not other people. Because without that, as I explained everything, without that, it's just you constantly will be doing things for others, and your own healing will be totally slow. So that was number three. The fourth one is the saboteur, right? Look into why you wouldn't want to heal. Like before you begin anything, before you begin any kind of healing of certain things that you already know, like aware of, ask yourself, why wouldn't I want to heal? Like why would I want to stay where I am? And see what comes out. And sometimes it's not very obvious, right? You need to pull out that really radically honest part of yourself so that you can find those answers, you know, because how many times I've heard from a client, but of course I want to heal. Of course there's nothing that I wouldn't want. And then I would ask that question like in certain different ways from the same person, and eventually we pull something out, you know, on the surface. It can be small, but it can be big, you know, it depends on the person. Well, eventually, initially the first response from almost every single person, of course I want to heal that. Well, yeah, consciously, but we are talking about the unconscious, subconscious mind, right? And subconsciously you might not want, because there is a benefit for you. Like there is something that you can get from staying where you are. So that's number four. Look into that so that there is no self-sabotage. The number five is, I would say, choose a healing modality that you truly resonate with, or like some sort of maybe several healing methods. Like don't jump between different things over and over, like looking for different things to do. Choose one or several, like a few, and believe that they work for you. Because the thing is, that's what I also discovered on my journey, is that every single modality works. Every single one of them. It's just sometimes we don't believe they do for us. So, but once you decide, okay, I choose that because I like that, and it's going to work for me, and it's completely going to work for me, and not doing like me, well, maybe it works for others, but not for me. I'm so special, you know, because I did that to myself. So you just decide, okay, I like that one, and it's going to work for me, and then you commit to working with that modality and be patient with yourself. Because as I said, there are sometimes several layers, and you might need to go over and over the same wound several times. You know, like this, for me, I will mention here because I didn't mention it before. Like, this is one of the biggest examples how I healed my own personal chronic pain inside my own body. It was my lower back pain, and I lived with it since the age of like 20 or so. It started being more and more present from 20 onwards, and I was going to doctors, obviously, for prescriptions, for massages. They were doing infiltrations to release my muscles. They were doing some injections. I was having these herbal compresses and all kind of things. Every time it would get inflamed, I would go to do all of this stuff. It would help me for like a month, and then in 1 month I'm back where I am. And then I have to do the same thing over and over. And when I was discussing with the doctors, they literally told me, well, there's nothing to be done apart from if you're willing to go for surgery. I was like, no freaking way. I'm not doing surgery on my back, because this is one of the most dangerous things to do. I can, end up crippled. And I do not like intervention in my body, as much as I can avoid it, I will avoid it. Somebody cutting me out, So I've lived like this for 17 years. And then when I awakened to the starseed, like my being a starseed and like healing modalities were revealed to me, with which I can work. One of them was working with my body. Okay, and also another one was going into the quantum field to see things. So I sat down with myself for a month every single day, because I was determined to heal that pain. I mean, I came out of this, when I remembered who I was, I came out with conviction. I can heal my body now, and I have to start with my body, not somewhere else. I have to start with my body, because it is getting in my way of doing what I want to do. It was really, really making me tired a lot. Like I couldn't sit in front of the computer for even half an hour. It would start hurting. I was wearing that belt all the time over, like, me, that would help my back be straight, but still it was very painful, because it's usually like it was digging into my belly. I was feeling pain somewhere, like I had to compromise on where to feel the pain. And I didn't want to work like this. I was like, I just knew that I could not work like this, or for the amount of time that I would want to dedicate to my work and like being with people. So I have to get that pain sorted for myself. And so I committed to doing that. And it took me 1 month. I sat every day for 1 month, and every single day. At the beginning, I didn't feel much, difference. But I think like a week into it, I started feeling that it's lifting. I started feeling that I'm sitting in that meditative position. Well, at the first day, it was freaking painful, and it was really killing me that I had to sit with that. Like I would really, really feel it so strongly. Then it started lifting. I'd feel it less and less and less, and like a month, it was close to a month. It was not exactly a month, it was close to a month, but like close to that ending of that month, finally there came a day when there was no more pain, and I did nothing else. Like I didn't do any medication, I didn't do any massages, nothing, just that. I just was sitting with my body, committing patiently, doing exactly the same thing every single day, looking further and further. What else am I freaking carrying on my back? It's that pain. I had to look into many layers, and I've carried a lot. Like I've had so many layers of junk that I carried on my back that didn't even belong to me. Like, for my family, for some friends, for somebody who died already, so many things. Like, and I had to let it all go. But once the final layer was peeled, it was gone. It was gone. It was magic. For me, it was like a huge celebration, right? So for me, it is a big inspiration, and I will always use that as my personal empowerment story, because it was the biggest thing. Since then, I did other things, like other pains. Like I had chronic gastritis since I'm a teenager, which just, I constantly live with back pain and stomach pain, which are usually related as well, but it wasn't gone entirely once the back was healed. So I had to look into that one. I looked into my acne, because I constantly have acne on my face since I'm like 10, I don't know. And it was huge, it was big. So now it's mostly gone. I have really small things. So different things, I looked into whatever bothered me the most, that I felt like I don't want to experience that anymore. And now it's just like that. But you need to be patient. And I know that it paid off when I was really patient with myself, rather than getting into a state of frustration, like, oh, I'm doing it and still no result, and dropping it. Like, like they say, there's this 3 feet from gold. when you dig into the golden mine, and like you dig, there's still no gold, and you keep digging it, and like then you're so done with it, you've been digging for like a year, and you have still no gold, and you stop, and actually the gold was like 3 digs after that. Like 3, yeah. So don't do that to yourself, okay? Don't stop digging until you reach the gold, because the gold is there, I promise you, if the patience is there. So that was number 5. And finally, number 6, always finish any work that you do, like internal, with physical integration. Taking that step in the physical world, that means action that is different from your usual, like habitual action that you used to have for years, okay? Always finish whatever you do with that one. And then that will be finalized, and on every level, because your healing is multidimensional. It happens on energy level, on your mental body, on your emotional body, on your physical one, and then you have to make it happen in the physical realm here, okay? And that's how you do it. So now I am done sharing everything I wanted, and I'm already 1.5 hours in, okay? I will leave some time for questions if you have them, guys, now. And then I will share with you, as I promised, the 2 offers that I have for you, for those who want to continue their healing journey, with what I can teach you, my methods, if you want. But first, if you have any questions, just let me know so that I can address them. So, and you can unmute yourself, or you can just drop it in the comments if you want. And also, if you want, just to finalize the whole thingy today, let me know, what are you taking out of it today? Like, what was the most important insight that you got for yourself and that you can now apply to you, because you didn't know that before, but now you can. So what is it for you?
For me, I think it's this thing that it will repeat the pain or the wound will come up again and again until it's healed, and afterwards it will come again for integration.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I mean, that's an important thing to know, so that when
we,
it happens, you don't tell yourself, oh shit, I'm not healed, you know? But in that moment, you can realize that's the integration.
yeah,
The universe gives me the chance to integrate, and on top of it, celebration time, because I can always tell myself, yippee, now I took a different road. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Great, thank you. I see a comment, so I will read it now. So I want to say thank you so much for the amazing gift of attending an event that with like-minded people. I have to go back to work, so I wasn't able to say goodbye, but if anyone needed to reach out, there is an email. Guys, you can see the email, Jacqueline. I look forward to networking and sharing again. Okay, so if somebody would like to connect with another like-minded person, feel free to do so. Do you have any more questions, or what would you like to share? What was your biggest insight for today?
Well, I can share a little bit my insight. One strong insight for me was, if we are working with the healer, then we are giving like we're giving away our power, like we're giving the power to the healer. And this really was like a lightning ball turned on in my head, because I think I still don't have enough self-esteem that I can heal myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that was quite important for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so just to specify, it's not like because you're working with the healer, you're giving your power away. It's not just that. It depends how you come into the relationship. If you come into the relationship with the expectation that they will heal you, that's when you give your power away. But when you come into the relationship with more like the collaborative co-creation space, like that you are healing yourself and that person is going to guide you and help you, that is not giving your power away. That is totally okay. That's what I wanted to make sure it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's true. That it's
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times, and it's not just with healers. It doesn't matter what kind of work you're doing. It's the same if you're working with coaches or mentors. It's the same. If you come into the relationship thinking that, oh my God, that person has something I don't, and now they are going to do that thing to me so that I become something. No, you are already everything that you need, right? And that person can only guide you, to see that, to help you see that, and use whatever resource that you have. Okay, so that's an important thing to always keep in mind. And if there are no more questions or comments, then I will just share with you these 2 offers that I promised I will share with you. One of them is that workshop that I held last year, which is called the truth about healing. And I know Mariana already did that one, and I know that she was already applying some things from there. Like it requires consistency, but basically it is a workshop for those who would like, because one of my methods how I heal right now, I have two. One of them is quantum healing, and the second one is this alchemized healing, where I work directly with the body and the higher self, like have a conversation between them and tuning into your pain. So basically in that workshop, that is the method that I'm sharing with you, and I'm teaching you how to do that for yourself and what is required to even begin that, because there are certain preliminary things that are basically need to be in place. You need to be connected to your body, you need to know how to connect to your higher self, and then other things. So in that workshop, I'm sharing with you what healing is. I'm diving a bit more into explaining how your body works, and how we get sick and why we get sick, so that you can understand the mechanism of how it was all done and created within you, so that you can basically uncreate the whole thing. I'm also explaining how you activate properly your healing ability, apart from what I said today, but there is not much there, like additional. It was just something that needed to be done and said. I'm talking about what actually is healing, and again, how you can heal yourself of absolutely anything and begin changing your life. And I'm sharing the entire process, how I use it with my clients, so that you can learn it for yourself and do it at any moment. Because when I work with someone, I usually teach them how to do it, and then they can do it on their own, so that for anything, any single thing, they don't need to run back to me and say, oh, let's do this, let's do that. They can do certain things on their own, and like the more their confidence in being able to heal themselves grows, the more they can tackle bigger things. But usually when people start working with me, like we work on really huge stuff that maybe at that point they're not ready yet to approach on their own, but I still teach them how to do that on their own afterwards, so people can continue their journey once we even separate it, and know how to deal with the things. So that's the workshop that's actually, I'm talking about all of that, and I'm teaching you. Okay, so, and this is more for people who are like DIY, I'm do-it-yourself girl. I prefer to do my own healing and dive into it on my own and in my own time. And of course, for those who are more like on a budget, because it is much cheaper than the second offer that I'm going to talk about. So this workshop is €65, and it's already recorded, so you can just purchase it and watch right away. And it's like around 3 hours, I'd say. So, and at the end, there's a guided journey. It's not just talking. So I actually actively guide you through the process of how you can heal yourself at the very, very end, before I explain everything. And then we dive into the journey of how I will be basically doing it with you, but of course, less in depth, because I cannot really guide you in the guided group journey, but you have the idea of how to do it for yourself. Okay, so that's my offer number one. And it's a truly powerful workshop, because when that method of healing was revealed to me, I've done a lot of work through that with myself and with my clients over the last year now, because it's kind of recent still. So it was more or less a year that I've been doing that, and I've seen like really magical results. I'm telling you, I released so many things from my own body, but also with clients in the same way. We released some. I wrote some of them. I didn't have that many people with whom I worked specifically on the body issues. It was more like a byproduct of healing, that their body heals, which is natural, because whatever wounds we carry, the last level would be the body. And if you are experiencing some body pains, but you don't know when or what they are, but then you heal some big wound and the body pain goes away, it means that they were related. Okay, so, and like just recently, one of my clients from the Thriving Starseed, we've been working there together for 8 months, and she wrote that she had a thyroid problem since she was a little girl almost, or not, maybe from a little bit later than that, but she took medication for the thyroid for 30 years. And she stopped it when we started working together, and now she went to the doctor, and the doctor told her, well, you need to lower your medication. And she didn't even tell the doctor, you know what, I'm not even taking it at all anymore, because it went so well that the doctor was like, you need to lower it now. And she was on the same dosage for years and talking about doing a surgery because it wasn't improving. I had another woman with whom I worked, and for her some sort of stomach issue was happening, and like when we worked in the session, it felt like she was giving birth to some evil. It was scary, to be honest, but it was gone after we did that session. Like that pain was out of her, and the stomach pain stopped. And I have like some of the stories less dramatic, obviously, with like less pains being gone, like pain in the shoulder or something like that, heaviness here and there. But some big things are also happening, because when you learn how to work with your own body, you literally understand that your body can heal itself. It doesn't need any external intervention, pills, surgeries, or whatever. It can literally heal anything. You will be armed for your life. Okay, so that's this workshop. And the second one is just one-on-one offer, where we could work together. If you want my guidance through the healing process, for exactly the same healing process, basically, but where I will teach you how to connect to your body, how to connect to your higher self, if that's not in place for you, and then we will look together into whatever it is you want to heal, whether it's physical or not, whether it's something that you're experiencing in your life that just keeps repeating, and you've done your healing already and it still comes back and it's not done. We can do that together and to look into that together. Okay, so that is the second offer that I have, and you can choose here between 2 months and 4 months, depending on how many things you need to work through. It's up to you to decide, and the level of investment in this one, as I said, it's completely different, of course, because it's my attention to you fully, and we will work one-on-one. So for 2 months, it's how much was it? 1,800, and for 4 months is 3,400. So it's a bit cheaper if you choose longer. But that's basically it. That's my offer to you. And again, we will just sit together and we will go through every single thing that you need to work through together. And I will guide you. Again, I will not be healing you. I want to be very explicit here. I'm not healing you. I'm your guide. And you will come out of that empowered, because you will also learn how to deal with it all, how to heal yourself from within, and especially if you're not connected yet. Because I know that for many people, many starseeds especially, we're very disconnected from our bodies, and that connection needs to happen first. Okay, because without that, if you're not connected, you cannot talk to your pain, you cannot talk to what's going on inside you, you cannot really feel and let your feelings be your guides, So it's actually a crucial step. So if that one is missing for you, we will definitely cover that there together, among obviously other things. And I also love, when we are working on healing, I love creating some sort of a final goal, like what is your intention for that healing, right? Because I do believe that healing for the sake of healing is not really working as well. It's always great to see what do you believe that healing was holding you back from in your life? What is that goal or dream that you want to go after? Like for me, when I started my healing, it was like, I cannot do my business if I'm constantly in pain. Like I cannot sit with my clients for 2 hours in a session if I am half an hour in it and I'm dying, and I've been there when I sat through the session with pain and it was not nice. So for me, that was my motivation. I want to sit through my sessions with my clients pain-free, so I can do my business from a space of not inner pain where I'm just holding it all in front of the person, but feeling great in my own body. That was my motivation. So I always encourage people to have like that goal. Where are you going? Why do you want to heal? What's on the other side of it for you? Because I believe that it creates a different level as well of commitment and different level of results. So if that's what you would like to do with me, just reach out to me after today's workshop, and I will just drop the link for the first program that I mentioned, and I forgot completely to even open it.
So I don't know if I understood. It's 3 different things, or it's 2?
No, it's 2. So the first one is the workshop which is recorded. The second one, you can choose whether to do it 2 months with me or 4 months. It's it's up to you. If you feel like you have a lot of things to work through, 4 months could be a better start, because 2 months we have 6 sessions. 4 months we have 12 sessions. So of course 12 gives us a much bigger, larger scale to work on, but it depends. Like if you feel like you still have a lot to do, maybe 4 months would be better. But sometimes I recommend people to start with 2 months, and I did have that case once when the person came. Like we had the very first session, like the preliminary one, and she came. It looked like she had tons of issues. In my head, I was like, yeah, she probably would need 4 months, but let's begin with 2. And it turned out when we started working together that some of her issues, they were rooted in one thing. And then once we cleared that one thing, because I couldn't know that initially, that it was that. But when we removed that one big thing, it fell through. Like all these other issues, they just fell through. So we eventually did only 6 sessions. And by the 6th session, I was like, I'm not sure what to work with you on today, because, it's all gone now. And she was like, yeah, it's true. I'm amazed. Like it's totally mind blowing, because she also thought She had so many issues. She had so many things to be done on her, but eventually it turned out no, not so much. And there are just key, like core wounds that we carry, and when they are causing others, like spawn, in your life. But once the key one is gone, the spawn disappears because there's nothing to grow on. Okay, so it depends. You would need to tune in with yourself to see whether it's whether you need 2 months or 4 months, like whether 2 will be enough, or do you believe that there's more to be done. But of course, I mean, it's still to keep in mind that if you like work, if you decide to choose 4 months and then after 6 sessions we are done, yeah, we will be done, and I will just reimburse you the difference. Not a big deal for me. Like, I don't want to invent what do we work on, like I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to specify. So just let me find the link, guys, because I forgot to find the link to the workshop. It's called The Truth About Healing. Okay, I still remember my hashtag. Great. So you have the link, but I will anyway send it to you with the replay, just in case, so that you all can have it and to check it out. You don't need to make a decision right away on the spot, but check it out. And so now I believe I shared with you everything, guys. My last parting words for you would be that healing journey, what I believed before, is that healing journey like never ends. But I've come to realize that it's actually not the truth of what is happening. For me, healing stops the moment when you have mastered, like whatever you incurred before, like whatever wounds you incurred before that were holding you back from being who you are, you've healed them so that you feel that you are yourself. And for me, the healing stops in that moment. And from that moment onwards, growth begins. Because when I look at healing, I look at it like a line, If you were to place yourself on that line where the 0 point would be the point where you are perfectly healthy and like well connected to yourself, well, before that line would be the space where you feel like shit about yourself and you're not connected to who you are and you're living a horrible life. That's until, like, from somewhere there until that point, that's where healing is needed. From that point where you've reached enough self-awareness, healing or whatever, where you're connected to who you are, you can always connect to the part of you that knows better, rather than being not guided, but more controlled by this other part who feels unhealed. So if you are able to always connect to that other part of you that knows how to go forward in an empowered way, you don't need more healing. You begin growing. You begin the journey of expansion. So for me, that's what I want you to leave you with, that your healing journey has an end. And it doesn't need to last your entire life if you do it in the right way, because the moment will arrive when you will feel different about yourself, and when in that moment you can decide for yourself and tell yourself, okay, I don't need healing anymore. Now I just want to grow and expand and have fun in this life and tackle whatever comes my way from a place more of power and maybe even playfulness sometimes, right? Because we don't always need to address every single horrible situation that happens from the place of doom. We can literally laugh about it from time to time, and that helps a lot. It helped me a lot. When my boyfriend was sitting on his chair with oxygen plugged into him, I was joking next to him. I was standing, now let's see where you are going with that. Even though inside me I was totally terrified and everything, but on the outside I was telling him some jokes and stuff like that, because that makes life easier. And I know that because I'm, how to say that? I am jumping into that well within me of empowerment that allows me to not be totally like, oh my God, we're doomed. What the fuck is going on? And why is it all happening, right? And just chill and let myself know that life is life. And I can survive anything as long as I'm alive. Life continues, and it can be beautiful, or it can be miserable if I keep telling myself I'm still unhealed and I'm so powerless and I cannot do anything. So after this workshop, I hope that you see how you can arrive at that point where healing will be done for you, and whatever happens next for you will only be for your growth. It will never lead to another wound. It will only lead to growth and expansion and more playfulness and more fun and more flow. I hope you feel that way too. And I hope I gave you some hope for the future with what I explained. And of course, if you do need my guidance, if you need my help in these 2 options that I gave you today, just feel free to either, the one that is with the link, you can purchase it right away. And the other one, just reach out to me in person if you have more questions, if you need to know something more, and we will talk it through. Okay, so thank you for being here, guys. I really appreciate that you took your time to join me today live. I always love that you guys join live, because I know that some people will be watching replays, which is totally fine because we are so spread in the world. But whoever joins me live, I always very appreciative. So thank you for being with me here, and hopefully see you next time in whatever capacity it will be. Love you all, guys, and see you soon.
Love you too, and thank you. That's great.
Bye.
Bye bye.